ground, but I ain't getting any higher. I've been trying to find a way to
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for downloading the Voice of Bedlam podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. We got a great show planned for you guys today. As always, everything we do is awesome. We rule. Everything is awesome. Alright, let's get over to the man on my left, Mr. Sean Bedlam. Sean, what's going on, dude?
What's going on, everybody? It's another Tuesday. I'm glad to be back. Things have been a little crappy for me at work lately, but we're here to talk about football, not about work, so let's talk about football.
John, what's going on, Devil?
I don't know about you, but talking about football is work for me. But not only that, Voice of Bedlam is branching out to all different sports.
Yes, we are.
I'm actually putting finishing touches on the first MMA article, which is going to cover the UFC 202 main card event of Conor McGregor versus Diaz.
Yeah, we're going to be getting into a lot of different things. We'll talk about that in a little, but let's tell you guys first about Coyote, a health and wellness company that offers pioneering and life-changing results. Click the ad in the description of the video or your audio link in the bottom. Click in the description, click the link. That'll take you to a website. Use the promo code No More Pills as your username and see what Coyote can do for you. Don't forget to try Nitro Extreme for more energy, and if you want to boost your heart's overall health and your entire cardiovascular system, try out the Nitro Extreme package with Coyote Wellness Simplified.
And also, if you want your team to compete with some flair, then look no further at BigLeagueShirts.com. Okay, they will help push your team, your flag team maybe that you hooked up with your homeboys. But now you can present yourself with high quality, personally customized jerseys.
There you go. So make sure you guys call 913-909-9236. Now you can order online at BigLeagueShirts.com. Customize your order there, but make sure you call that number and tell them that you heard the ad on the Voice of Bedlam, and they'll take $50. $50 off your first order. They do customized t-shirts and customized jerseys, and who knows, maybe our good friends over at Big League Shirts gonna send us a nice little Bedlam jersey. Yeah. But make sure you guys
might see that up on our wall pretty soon.
Make sure you guys call 913-909-9236. BigLeagueShirts.com. All right, but as we said, Voice of Bedlam is evolving, growing, and changing. We are going to be branching into all different sports. Still going to be a lot of football, and let's get there now with today's Daily Breakdown. All right, well, up first, Calvin Johnson breaking the silence since he's gone into retirement. John, what's Yahoo News saying?
Yes, according to Yahoo News, Calvin Johnson spent 9 seasons in this league called the NFL. Right now, he decided that enough was enough, and he retired. Okay, this past season. Now, despite coming off of 1,200-yard season and
9 touchdowns
last season, okay, he decided that at 30 years old that he's had enough, and he went on further to state with Yahoo News that it was easy to speculate that playing nearly a decade for the Detroit Lions was a lot of wear and tear on him. And
he's got one of those messed up fingers, like Brian Baldinger.
Finger, like ankle,
like,
woo! I think he said.
Like real down there.
It sucks for the Lions fans out there. It's another great that retired maybe a little too early.
Yeah,
like Barry Sanders.
But he says that he had his mind made up.
Well, yeah, once you have that many injuries and the time-consuming nature that, keeps you off the field, not only that, after you recover, I don't know if any of you have any lingering injuries, but like when it gets rainy out, my ankle gets a little messy, and it's like, man, that was that ankle that, I basically folded in half when that dude fell on me. And it's like, oh, snap. So there's, he's thinking about post-football, which, that was his breadwinner. You know, he was a football player,
Well,
but
yeah, he made a
honestly-
lot of money.
But
He had a great career, regardless.
indeed, and to walk out
Little
with,
overrated.
with a little bit more help
He's not
on his
overrated.
side.
He's a Hall of Famer.
I think that he deserves to walk out with
He'll be
being
in
able to
Canton.
walk out.
He'll be in
Yeah,
Canton.
I agree. And yes, he will be in Canton, but I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be as high as everybody else in there. He is going to be in Canton, but I don't even bother comparing him to Jerry Rice or even Terrell Owens.
Well,
for that matter.
he's one of those.
Or Randy
He didn't
Moss.
make
one
the
of
top
those-
10
He's the
list
tier.
for Sam
He's
Stocks.
the tier behind it.
He's
No,
one
he
of-
did. He made it.
He's one of those
He made it.
players
But see,
where it
but
comes
Tim
down
Brown
to.
got left out. Boo.
He's one of those players that when it comes down to it, he put up the numbers, but he didn't have the rings, so it's going to be.
He didn't have the playoffs, let alone the ring.
Correct.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he put up the stats. There's no question about that. But did he? I mean,
Fantasy football nightmare.
Does he get into the? Yeah. Does he get into the hall because he had rings or because he didn't have rings?
Oh, no, he deserves-
It comes down to that with a lot of players.
He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame without
absolutely.
a doubt.
Absolutely.
But I just think there's some
Some people might
where people
argue.
go, well, they're more of the back end Hall. I mean, you're still the level of greatness, but I just see him towards the back end of the top tier.
He'll make it,
Do you know what I mean?
He'll be the first ballot,
Oh,
too, I
absolutely. But I just think people hype him up a little too much. But what do we got going on next? We'll do.
Well, we got some sad news coming out, especially for the Ryan brothers who were reunited over there in Buffalo. Their father tragically passed away due to cancer.
Yeah, Buddy Ryan died today at the age of 82 in his ranch in Shelbyville, Kentucky. They're saying that cancer was the cause of the death. That's not, I guess, confirmed yet. But it's a sad day for football.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Buddy Ryan definitely, even as a Giants fan, he brought personality to the league. Like
Absolutely.
Rex. Like Rex.
His sons,
he was-
you can see that fiery
I mean, he
personality
punched Kevin Gilbride, in the face. Kevin Gilbride, coach of the Chargers, with Ryan Leaf Sandley, also the offensive coordinator
with Houston.
for the Giants' latest 2 Super Bowl wins. So that's a good note. But yeah, punched in the face by Buddy Ryan working with the Oilers.
Honestly, I think, maybe I'm making a bold statement here, but I think that the brothers are going to be playing with a lot more heart this year, and they're going to.
Oh yeah, because
push
they're
their team
they're
to perform this
reuniting.
year.
Well, I don't know if
They're reunited.
Yeah, well, did they ever?
Oh,
were they
well,
ever
they're
together?
united.
They're united again as far as coaching because they're now both there in Buffalo. Rob being the DC, and obviously Rex being the head coach.
Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but just think of the storyline it could be. All right, Buddy Ryan, NFL legend, dies. The brothers work together in Buffalo, a franchise that has gone through so much pain.
Yeah.
So much pain to be in 4 Super Bowls in a row
them all.
with Jim Kelly, lose them all, progressively getting worse. What's worse, the missed field goal against the Giants or the ass whipping the Cowboys gave them? Do you know what I mean? Each year it got worse. But I mean, Jim Kelly did get injured when they played the Cowboys. But what if they rebuild that franchise the year after their father dies and took home the gold? Brought it home to Buffalo in the name of their father. I'm just saying it would be a crazy story. I'm not saying it's actually going to happen.
Great storyline.
It would be that storybook ending that probably both the Ryan brothers looked for.
And they're saying that
I don't
right now.
necessarily see it happening.
Yeah,
but the Bills, they're not slouches up there in Buffalo.
Sammy Watkins, they're saying he's going to be healthy for camp.
They might make a run at
Sammy.
that division, or at least a wild card. I don't want to say division, but the wild card, they can make a run at it.
Now, we talked a little hypothetical Buffalo. Let's talk a little bit literal Buffalo. We talked about
Well, they
Sammy
have to
Watkins.
compete against the Patriots twice a year, and that's the team that's going to take has taken that division for multiple years. And then you round out the rest of that with the Fish, and you got the Jets, who don't even know who the quarterback is going to be.
But that's what I was going to say about Buffalo. They are not sold on Tyrod Taylor. They are always saying he has no job security whatsoever. Anytime
Which
you
I
have a
think
quarterback
that's
controversy,
just
it's not
more
good.
job
worst
security
approach.
than EJ Manuel should have.
But they're saying, but they got to figure out what they're going to do, commit to it now. They can't be the Texans of last year.
True.
Yeah.
just fly by night, throwing in whatever quarterback into the situation, because
They're not going to be like the Texans and win that division with a revolving door of quarterbacks.
I honestly like Tyrod Taylor. I thought he turned it
A
on
lot of
towards
people
the end.
do. Oh, they just don't seem to.
Yeah. I think
Which-
he was their best. I mean, he was by far their best quarterback that played last year.
But honestly, it might just be a tactic to get in his head to perform at a higher level.
True, but I don't think so. Possibility.
If he's got to outplay EJ Manuel, he doesn't have a lot to play.
Exactly. So
over.
if he makes statements that like, hey, I like EJ Manuel a lot better anyway, so then it gives him more of a push to be like, well, dang man,
Tyrod might see that for what it is, and it just being kind of like a ploy, like, oh well, he's coming for my job, but it's EJ Manuel. I got this to lock down. I'm good.
Yeah, but also on a positive note, the NFL is committing $10 million to sexual violence prevention now.
Yeah, it's positive, but it's a PR move. That's my opinion.
Well, honestly, with Ray Rice and with Greg Hardy and with all these other incidents,
even the Richie Incognito thing.
correct.
lumped in there.
There's you have to save face, but not only that, you have to address an issue
Yeah, I was
that
about
is
to
going
say
on
that.
within your organization. Like, if your organization had a record of having sloppy employees, that's a reflection of your entire organization. Even though it was a few employees that did that, you still need to address the conduct of those employees.
So basically, you're saying, because I do think like it's kind of messed up, because the majority, the far majority of football players are not woman beaters. But basically, if instead of NFL, it was your local
I just think of the T-shirt when
Walmart,
you say woman
if
beaters.
it was your local Walmart
if it
and
was
they
any
had
of the
3
places
woman beaters,
that we
you'd
work
be like,
for.
wow, this place is
Don't
messed
they have
up.
Don't they have
Yeah.
the 3 woman beater combo pack on sale at Walmart? I'm joking.
Hanes. Free plug.
Yeah, right. Free plug. But no, honestly though, they any type of violence, especially in
Towards
the
women.
sexual violence, and it's just it's uncalled for. And not only that, people will beg to differ right now because there's a term being used, toxic masculinity. Now, have you heard this term?
No, but I know what it means.
All right,
so.
but so yeah, all right,
Yeah,
so
I can make guesses at it.
yeah, and people are thinking that people are using that as a grounds to be like, well, you're too masculine, and that's counterproductive to the movement of humanity.
Hey, did anybody see the South Park episode, the metrosexual episode?
Oh, yeah, most
and
definitely.
all the crab people
That's
took
a-
over the
it's a
planet.
great-
Yes.
I'm sorry,
great show.
men need to be men. Well, I got into a huge
Yeah, but that's
argument.
not a clear definition.
Wait, no, listen
though.
to me. No, I got into a huge argument with Ralph Vacchiano. All right, and now it was when the Richie Incognito stuff was going on, and I said I knew from the gate. I was like, no. When I first heard the quotes that were said, I was like, oh my god. I was like, this is crazy. But then I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, no, there's something. This isn't the whole story. And you find out that like they're friends, and people can get on their high horse.
Yeah.
But when you're a friend with someone and you act a certain way, that's up to that person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it seems like they were friends, and that was okay, and they were joking, as inappropriate as it may have been. And I was saying, no, these are grown men. They can pick on each other. They're men. And I don't agree with you're too masculine. No, you need to be a woman, and not to segregate the sexes. A woman can be in the workforce, be a CEO, but certain things when it comes to protection of a family, just in my opinion, like I am the protector of my family. I need to be that way just so we survive. Do you know what I mean? And not that a woman can't do it, but don't try and feminize a man is what I'm saying.
I can kind of see both sides. Not so much so of like demonizing, masculinity in a sense, but also in the same token, I can see how the trends of history and how violence has kind of shaped the world that is around us, and to maybe, use our brains a little bit more so than our muscles would be more beneficial, because that's the strongest muscle that we fail to neglect.
Okay, but what's going on with Marcus Mariota?
Well, Marcus Mariota went on record, which I'm going to go in a little bit more detail in the 4-minute hut about it, but
Teaser.
Teaser. Marcus Mariota is going into his second year, and there's a lot of potential or lack of potential that could potentially happen next year because that sophomore slump season's coming in. So, but with that being said, he said that he's going to be no stranger to handing off the ball, even if it's like 40 times. If it means that means for them to win.
They got a lot of running backs there in Tennessee.
Exactly. They have Derrick Henry. They got DeMarco Murray. They got Bishop Sankey. They got people.
Very crowded backfield.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting position battle over there, but to see who gets what. But I can almost guarantee it. Out of 4 of those, 1 or 2 of them might be on a different team, being the lead ball carrier for someone else.
That is very true, but I'm going to be a little cynical here, maybe, right? Now, Marcus Mariota, that sounds good. Like, I'll do whatever it takes to get my team to win. That's good. That's good to hear, but no. I want to see you as a quarterback be the front runner. I want that to be
like
your
we were
team.
saying before
I
the
want
show.
you to be your leader. I want you to be the leader of the team when the game is on the line. If I'm a Titans fan, I want to have trust.
Is it a cop-out?
That's kind of what I'm saying.
It's almost a cop-out.
Yeah, that's how I'm saying. I want to trust Marcus Mariota to throw the big pass.
You drafted him number
with
2
30 seconds
overall to be
a quarterback,
to be the field general for your team, and he's got that skill set. So he's talented, man.
He's talented.
Marcus
that doesn't mean
Mariota
he's a
is
field general.
Yeah.
Ryan Leaf had talent.
He's supposed to be a field general. That's what.
But his number 1 target last year was Delaney Walker, the tight end.
Well, they got
it kind of looks like
problems there. They got some problems there in the receiving core in Tennessee. They don't really have. I mean, they got Dorial Green Beckham, who had a pretty decent season last year, but they're kind of
rookie.
They're kind of lacking that go-to guy there. But at the same time, I hear what Andrew's saying. Like, to me, I don't want my quarterback to say I'll hand the ball off 40 times, because that's not what a quarterback's job is.
Not anymore, at least. Not that I want to abandon the run game.
It's a passing
to get your offense.
I believe in
moving.
establishing the run.
If it means run, then it means run. If it means throw the ball, then move
run,
the ball.
but don't hand off the ball 40 times.
No, absolutely.
He's just stating that he's not afraid to hand off the ball.
Yeah, I know, but I don't
if
want
that means
that
to win.
voice. That's what I want to hear out of my wide receiver. I want to hear my wide receiver go, you know what? If they need me to play defense, I'll be out there playing defense. My quarterback, I want him to be have bravado. You know what I mean? I want him to feel like he's great. I don't want him to be too arrogant, like, say, Colin Kaepernick was in the past. But I want him to know, like, no, when the game is on the line, the ball's going to be in my hands, and I'm going to win it for us with the team.
But
I want my quarterback to say, I'll hand the ball off 40 times, or I'll throw the ball 60 times.
But
if he had added that on to the second part of that quote,
I'll give you that.
That would be, I would take that and be like, good for you, Marcus Mariota, because you have the mentality I want in my sophomore quarterback.
I think you're missing the major key point there, is that he's not going to rely on himself, to only
selfish.
be
He's not being selfish.
He's being a team leader. He's being a team leader.
But he's the quarterback. That's the most
exactly.
It's the most.
So he's the field general. He gets the ball to the running back.
It's the most important position in all of sports, and handing off the ball 40 times is going below game manager and going to just basically being a pawn in the general the total offense of a team, and that's not something I want to hear my quarterback saying. That
exactly. I'm glad. I mean, we're destroying this guy. He's trying to say he's a team player. I get it, and it has good to it. But when it comes from the quarterback, I just want a little bit more oomph, as you could tell when we were talking about our last snippet of news. When I was saying,
not to
warriors.
throw stones around or anything, but Eli Manning was handing the ball off a lot in those early Giants years.
I just said I want to establish the run, no problem, without a doubt. I don't want my quarterback to come out and say what he said. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but what if Eli Manning said the same thing back then? It was like,
I'd
hey,
say,
I want
Eli, you're the number 1 overall draft pick. You better be able to hold that, hand off that ball. But no, you better be throwing fade route, winning touchdowns to Plexico Burress over the undefeated Patriots. Eli didn't say anything like that. Eli said, I think I'm elite. Everybody said that was the exact opposite of his character, but whatever. That's what I want to hear my quarterback say. I want to say I want to hear him say, yes, I'm an elite quarterback.
If Carson Wentz comes out and says that this year, I'm looking at Carson Wentz in a completely different light, because I'm saying this guy doesn't have he wants to win, but he doesn't have that winning mentality that I want.
He just doesn't have the pedigree to stand on to say that he's going to be an elite quarterback.
I'm not talking about,
especially since he only played D2.
I'm not talking about Carson Wentz or even Marcus Mariota.
Just general,
specifically in general. I want my quarterback to say, yeah, I'm going to make those passes. But I'll hand the ball off too. I'll make little shovel passes. I'll throw to someone. I'll throw to my running back in the backfield. I'll make those. I'll run outside the pocket if I have to. But just saying I'll hand the ball off 40 times if I have to. I get where you're coming from, Marcus Mariota, but that's not really the mentality I want my starting quarterback to have, especially with a guy that's as young and as talented.
Why wouldn't you when you have
Mariota.
3 strong running backs fighting for position?
I'm not saying abandon the run. They should rely on the run, but I want my quarterback to make it clear that I am completely capable of doing it.
It kind of sounds like Marcus Mariota is almost doubting his own capability.
I don't think he is, though.
He's not.
He's evolving as a leader right now, because he was drafted, number 1 and
number 2.
In the first round. Then he was a first round pick for that team.
Number 2 overall, yeah.
Number 2 overall, and that is going to be and is the face of their franchise. And for the face of your franchise to admit that he's going to get all people involved, especially the newly acquired backfield.
That goes without saying.
Then
that goes without saying. Of course, he has to get everyone involved, because it's not just football is the essential team sport.
Yeah, but he's just making the statement so that the fans understand that it's like, hey,
well, if he's making a statement for the fans, then that's no good either. It's just making
lip service.
It's lip service. Yeah, exactly.
What is the face of a franchise supposed to do then?
He's supposed to say, I just don't like. I can make the throws. I can make the shovel passes. I can hand the ball off. I can do it. I'm going to do it for my team.
Because it kind of sounds like you want to hear like the extra chromosomal approach of Peyton Manning.
That's what I was saying.
In football, I drop back, throw football, and
that's what I was saying.
football.
That is what I'm
saying. I throw football because that's what a football does.
As much as I like making fun of Eli Manning, John, and I totally like how you're making that little.
Football.
That little Eli Manning joke. That type of quarterback has been proven to win in the league. So I want Mark. If I'm a Titans fan, I want Marcus Mariota.
So that's a Tony Romo who got humbled last year
in all aspects of his game, not just winning, doing what he has to.
It's
a double-edged sword.
Yes, exactly. It's a double-edged sword
because you're forgetting one key factor.
It's all about winning. We're
overanalyzing this, but that's what you do with every facet of a quarterback's game.
Yeah, but you know what?
I mean?
The reason is this: that Marcus Mariota, he came from Oregon. That's right. I'm sorry. I almost said Hawaii, but he's from Hawaii.
Chip Kelly.
He's from Hawaii, but he went to University of Oregon. He is put into a position where he needs to be mobile because these defensive line are getting leaner and they're getting meaner and they're getting faster.
Yes,
so the quarterbacks of yesteryear that were able to drop back in the pocket and spend a little bit of time and have that cushion is now being eliminated.
I disagree.
Defensive ends are hitting the edge quicker, and not only that, the sack totals are going to go through the roof, especially now that they've made amendments to the chop blocks on offense.
That's very true.
Things are that was the chop block was saving a lot of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, but see with I lost my train of thought when you coughed. Oh, but I disagree because I think with these defensive ends being faster and everything like that, what that's increasing, you're not doing a 7-step drop. You're doing a 3-step. No, you're doing a 3
or a 5.
If you're mobile, you're doing a 3-step drop, quick release. I'm talking Tom Brady. I'm talking Eli. Quick release. That's what the NFL is changing.
Wide receivers.
That's how they're beating the
making the
defensive
break
ends.
in 3 steps.
I think
all of them. All of them nowadays. Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Victor Cruz.
We're not going to agree on this, obviously.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, like, you know, in 3
Larry
seconds.
Fitzgerald, Brown.
But it is a double-edged sword because I totally see where John's coming from.
So do I.
But I got I don't want my quarterback saying things like this.
Well, debate is good.
Necessarily the way he said it. If there was a second part to that quote where he said, "Or I'll throw the ball 60 times."
But after a Super Bowl loss, when you walk away saying nothing, it's a problem, right? All right.
He wasn't a tough guy about it. He was a baby about it. If he was all pissed and kicked the chair, I'd have been like, all right. But he looked like a little girl.
Man, he just looked at him like, are you crazy? And he walked off.
He looked like a little girl.
Well, Pamela Newton, I gave the
What
nickname.
I'm saying is, he could have looked better. And if you want your resume to look better, you guys got to go over to redinkresumes.com. We've all heard the good news about the growing job market throughout the country. If you're stuck in the past with one of those old, boring, tacky resumes, you need to go over to redinkresumes.com now and get a hold of your future. Stand out and be noticed.
Yeah, so with the growing use of social media like LinkedIn and things like that, you know, you need to grab the attention of your future employer. And the best way to do that is to hit up redinkresumes.com because they can optimize your resume building so that opportunity does not pass you by to get that career that you need to get by.
I'm going to take it upon myself real quick. Thanks for the plug, guys.
redinkresumes.com.
Fantasy Football League. Voice of Bedlam listeners. I know you guys are sending those emails. We're going to be doing our Fantasy Football League at Mother's. Details are yet to be determined, but it's going to be sometime in August. It's coming soon.
You're blocking your face.
I don't care.
You're putting a finger in your own eyeball.
I'm pointing at the camera. They don't need to see me. They just need to hear me.
Guys.
Yeah, and we're going to have the Fantasy League, VOB, a Listeners League. Email us over at staff@voiceofbedlam.com, hosting it over at ESPN. We're working on getting it sponsored. We got something in the works, but we are going to have some trophies, a live draft. We're really going to get things going on it all. Make sure you go over to voiceofbedlam.com. A lot of new changes. You got a new writer over there, Tom Big T Ambersico. Go check out his Mets articles. Also, you can check out Colin's basketball article. We're going to be getting a lot of
Did you just say
NBA.
baseball and basketball on the voiceofbedlam.com?
That's what I said.
We're entering into new sports. We said it at the beginning of the
man,
show.
and then my MMA article's coming up. The only reason why it's taking me some time right now is because there's a lot. Conor McGregor is like each day coming out like saying some outlandish, crazy stuff.
John, how you feeling over there, man?
I'm battling through like sinuses right now, man.
See, he's trying to keep that consecutive game started streak
exactly.
alive.
You know, I'm like Brett Favre in his prime.
He hasn't missed one yet.
I was thinking Eli.
I thought does he have the record for most consecutive starts actively?
Yeah.
Active. All right. But you know what? Speaking of active, we're not going to be active with the 4-minute hut this week. We're going to disable that one, but we're going to have to bring in one of our.
Yeah, we definitely are doing.
Well, it's going to be like the 2-minute hut because we're going to condense it down because we've been doing the strengths and weaknesses of 4 teams, but we're going to break down 2. So I'm going to call it the 2-minute hut.
Well, I mean, considering the 4-minute hut's usually the 40-minute hut, I think maybe it's a little bit more fitting. But let's talk about what you guys can go over and check out tomorrow at voiceofbedlam.com. We got Bedlam's next Big Ten. Bedlam Big Ten worst jerseys of all time. And you know what? Let's give you guys the preview. John, fix my screen out for me, man.
Sure. Well, we're
Let me
gonna
get the Big Ten. All right, we got Bedlam's Big Ten worst jerseys of all time. Talking of the Super Bowl era. But we're talking Buffalo Bills coming in at number 10. That blue on blue with the red helmet few years back. It was really robbing. Like, it really.
And you lost 4
displeasing.
Super Bowl chances.
It was ugly.
Displeasing to the eye. But next, let's go in with a current Miami Dolphins uniform. Now, I don't like the older
think
one
I
with
think
the
they're all
Dolphin with the
ugly.
helmet on it. But like Sean, you said, at least the Dolphin was mean.
The Dolphin was mean.
Now
at
it's like a
least.
digital.
It looks like a SeaWorld logo.
It's like a digital Dolphin. It looks terrible. Now, the Chiefs, I've just always found it kind of boring. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this.
They're
They
never
think it's
gonna change
traditional.
their logo.
They haven't changed their stuff since
They're
Joe
never gonna
Montana.
change
But neither
like,
will
days.
the
So that's
Browns.
like-
Neither will the Browns, and I love the Browns. But let's keep moving from the Chiefs, going with the Titans. Now, this is mostly because of the logo. I'm sorry. I cannot stand that Titans logo. It just looks cheesy. It looks kiddish, cartoonish. But even worse, coming in at number 6, Jaguars. What are those helmets? What are
well,
those
they
helmets?
call face person tar pit.
money thing. It was like, oh, we're the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's change things up. So let's put some gold on the back of the helmets. That's all that was.
It's just a flat black with a shiny gold, but even worse, Patty the Patriot.
At number 5.
Sorry to be hating on New England again. Oh, wait, no,
we're
I'm not.
No, we're not. No one here is.
But we will go over next at number 4, the Orange Elway. We're talking pre-Super Bowl Elway. Orange Denver Broncos.
The D and the
Ooh.
horse.
The Bronco, yep, the Bronco diving out of the D. Next one, Sean, what's the next one, number 3?
The Eagles logo. I think the Eagles wore it. I can't remember I don't know.
The
if it was
wannabe
last time-
Michigan Wolverines.
The last time I remember them playing, it was McNabb was still on the team. They beat the crap out of the Lions, but it was those ugly blue uniforms with the gold
Kind of
jersey,
70s-ish.
the blue shoulder pads, and the blue numbers. They were hideous.
Number 2, going with Peachman, talking about the throwback Tampa Bay Buccaneers, creamsicle orange, the Buccaneer with
What do
the
you
feather
think,
in
Sam?
his teeth. Yeah, what do you think about that one?
There you go,
I
Sam.
bet
That's what you get for
I
leaving
bet
a
you-
Raider off your top 10.
I bet you everybody thought that was going to be number 1.
Oh, no.
But no, the Bumblebee Steelers. You
Ugh.
guys know what I'm talking about. Those jerseys are terrible. They look like a mohair sweater.
And not only
What
that,
are
it
you
looks
doing,
like they had
Pittsburgh?
they just got done out of a marathon run with the number in the front. Man, it's just so
Or they look like
disgusting.
they just got out of jail from like the 1940s.
Now,
They're
I
a chain
really,
gang.
I really wanted to bump Buffalo off the list and make number 10 any color rush jersey at all. John wouldn't have it.
Because the color rushes are very rare. So, we have to talk about, if we're talking about a team's uniform.
Tornadoes
it's
are
gonna
rare. Are they good?
What?
Tornadoes are rare. Are they good?
Tornadoes are rare?
You don't get a tornado every day.
No,
Is that a good
but
thing?
you also
Yeah,
don't
not
get
around
tsunamis
here,
every
at least.
day, or you don't get, earthquakes. You get them more on the west.
Just
Coast,
because it's
but-
rare doesn't make it good.
Yeah, well, honestly, I like diversity, and not only that, especially when you have teams that, like myself, that have black and white jerseys, to see more color would be optimal because, black is not a color; it's a shade. I'm sorry, guys.
My number 1 would be, as much as I hate those Bumblebee Steelers logos or jerseys, I should
We got
say.
an honorable mention.
Those Peachman.
Oh, so you
Jersey-
disagree? You want
Well,
to flip the number 1
I
and
would,
number 2?
I would flip the number 1 and the number 2. Sorry, Sam, but your team's old jerseys were hideous. That bright, I don't even know what you
It
would
wasn't
call
bright. It was like soft.
Excuse me, Sean,
It-
but
it-
let me just
I mean-
tell you that your Eagles were on the top 3 as well. So
I
don't
he
think
might get
that
back.
you have a much leg
He
to
might
stand
get back.
on.
He might
Sam
get
being
back.
patched into the voice of Bedlam now.
He might throw that back at me, but those Peachman jerseys were hideous.
Yeah, but not only
And
that's payback, dude, for all the
that
Raiders
logo
hatred.
too. That logo too, with the hat, with the pirate, with the
The
sword.
feather in his mouth. Yeah,
Yeah,
orange,
this-
all orange and white.
Oh man, How do you think players felt about walking onto the field with those jerseys?
Well,
know that
definitely stood out.
Even Maurice Jones.
Their new logo though, the new Buccaneers jersey with the
that's
the
nice.
sword
See,
and the flag and the skull and crossbones.
But you know what though?
the Jolly
That-
Roger, that's cool. Though.
That makes
I like
me
that.
a little angry because
Except I don't like those digital
Because of the Raiders.
those digital
Because,
clock
yeah.
numbers that they have on those jerseys. I think
that's one of the last controversies that
Getting a
Al
little
Davis,
arena football-y.
stirred up before he passed away, was that he was going to sue the Buccaneers for copyright infringement of the logo change because of how close it is to the Raiders.
The dude loved suing his business partners.
Oh yeah, because you know what? Everybody hated on the Raiders, and obviously, as one of our friends, who I will not mention
Pete
his name,
Rozelle did not.
they also hate on the Raiders, which I don't appreciate because they're one of the legacy teams that has 3 Super Bowls. So, but speaking of legacy and stuff, why don't we talk about this?
Let's secure your
new grown
legacy.
stuff?
Let's talk about your legacy. And you guys can get in on that with newgenerationsportsapp.com. This message is for all you sports fans / gamers out there. The developers of Madden NFL, NCAA football, and NASCAR have teamed up with United Sports to create the first live sports app of its kind. Now, it hasn't launched yet, but you can still become an affiliate. If you become an affiliate, you'll have a startup fee, and then once the app launches, your startup fee is only $40. Once the app launches, there will be a regular maintenance fee, but you could also play for free. So just go over there, sign up, jump on this new innovative app, newgenerationsportsapp.com, and start playing for free. Let's play together. For details and information, once again, visit newgenerationsportsapp.com.
Yeah, but like I mentioned a few minutes earlier, but I'm still gonna do the drop right now because we're gonna start our 4-minute hut.
player card. We were doing a player card on Buddy Ryan.
We will get to the player card after the 4-minute hut.
Yeah, because we should honor the man that dedicated so much to football towards
We'll make
the
him
end
the
of the
headliner.
show, because or as we call in the music industry the deadliner, because usually a signature segment.
Too soon,
would be
John.
headed up,
Too soon.
Too soon. No. What? No, deadliner is when you go on after the headliner. It's a music term.
Yeah,
I thought you were
when
talking
the
about
show's going until 2 in the morning and the headliner's playing at 9:30.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a festival thing.
All right, sorry.
Oh, don't worry, man. You'll get to that musicianship level. But back to the 4-minute hut. And let's kick it right over to Sean, because you're going to be talking about these Jacksonville Jaguars
Strengths
who
and weaknesses.
just totally took over this last year's draft and got 2 of the biggest names. So how do they fit into the squad going into next year?
Also came in at number 5 of the worst jerseys, or uniforms, I should say.
All right, well, I'm going to start off with their strengths. The Jacksonville Jaguars ranked 31st in overall offense last year. They allowed 6,000 yards in total offense, which was good enough for 9th worst in the entire league. But obviously they addressed that in the draft, taking Jalen Ramsey and Miles Jack in their first 2 rounds, and then they went and made a trade for Malik Jackson. They got Dante Fowler coming back, so that front 7 and that secondary, depending on whether or not Jalen Ramsey will end up playing at the beginning of the year, that's going to be their strong suit. I'm not going to go too much into their defense. The other being their running game. I mean, they got TJ Yeldon, who had a pretty decent year last year, and then they also picked up Chris Ivory in free agency. So they got some weapons on offense, and then that receiving core with Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson, 2 guys that are. Allen Hurns was a guy that kind of broke onto the scene a few years ago, and then Allen Robinson, the two Allens. Allen Robinson actually. Had himself a pretty decent year last year too, especially in fantasy. So
absolutely.
So look him up in when you're doing your fantasy draft. And then as far as weaknesses go, there's not really. I don't want to say weaknesses. What's going to be going on with the Jaguars is not going to be so much like, oh, this is a weak spot that they have. It's going to be their quarterback play, because Blake Bortles, as well as he did play last year, he also led the league in interceptions.
Yeah. Yes,
he had 33 touchdowns, and I forget how many interceptions, but it's really going to be based on whether or not Blake Bortles can start to develop and become the quarterback that Jacksonville needs him to be in order to compete in that division.
When I look at Jacksonville, the one weakness that points out most to me, and it kind of goes right in with what you said with the weakness, is that they lack veteran leadership.
They always
very
have to.
young team.
It's good to
Very
be young, but they're
team.
always too young.
Exactly.
But
So
Bortles
it could
is going to
work,
mature. Bortles is going to mature, and
Yeah.
he's going to be there for the long
Yeah.
haul.
Yeah, I bought into him for fantasy, as Colin knows.
And Sam.
Yep, and I also grabbed Marcus Mariota, which I'm going to be discussing.
Ooh, so if he
over there.
hands off the ball 40 times a game, that's not
Still going to be so happy.
that's not going to be so good.
But he also runs a lot, man. He was one of the top leaders for his team for rushing.
Yeah,
and he
go
was
ask
number 2.
RG3 about being the leading rusher.
Yeah, but when you need to move the ball, you need to be, especially when you're the field general, you need to find ways to move the ball and not give up the ball to the defense. You need to be able to move north and south, east and west, and you need to move the ball all over that
Yes,
field.
but when you move too much, you get injured in a playoff game after winning Rookie of the Year, and then you go to Cleveland where quarterbacks go to die after you
But
rode
that's
the
not
bench.
him. And not only that, they have a lot of talent over there now, especially with the balance of the running game and now the emerging younger wide receivers like Dorial Green-Beckham. But to give you guys a quick rundown so that we don't take up too much of your time because we're already at the 41-minute mark, the strength of this team is their offensive weapons. And the reason why I'm saying that is because last year they were 28th in points, okay, averaging about 18.7 a game. They were 30th in rushing yards, which was 311 a game. Now passing was they were 25th with 218 average yards, and then 92.8. I'm sorry for the which also 25th in rushing. So overall, they need to. As you see, they were very heavy on the pass, and that's why it was funny to me to hear you like, well, I want to see my quarterback passing the ball, and he's like, he was slinging the ball a lot.
It was all hypothetical,
Yes,
but I didn't like the way he said it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't Marcus Mariota have a little more confidence in his?
Oh, but we're not getting back on this.
Yes, but but
Well, we're talking about the Titans.
But this is who he was. This is who the receiving leaders were for the team last year. Delaney Walker got 94 receptions for 1,088 yards. Okay, and then
Delaney Walker had a career year, but I want to keep this real quick, not to interrupt you. But a rookie quarterback, his best friend is always going to be the tight end.
Yeah.
Easy little seam routes, big target, large wingspan. Do you know what I mean? Underneath. Rookie quarterbacks, young quarterbacks love tight ends, and
Yeah.
Delaney Walker has always been an underrated guy. And last year was
Look
the
into
first
this
time
gets it done.
he
Guy
really saw
throwing it into the flat.
some press. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, but
So
Great in the red zone as
Can
well.
Marcus Mariota look more to the outside? Can
That's a good question.
Well-
Does he have the weapons?
Can Dorial Green-Beckham and Marcus Mariota, can they find that chemistry this year?
well, last year Dorial Green-Beckham
Both
caught
second-year players.
32
They're gonna
receptions
have a margin
for
of error that's going to be.
549
They're going to have a
yards.
pretty big
One at a
margin.
time.
Sorry, they're going to have. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I was just telling you though that Dorial Green-Beckham in his rookie year caught 32 passes for 549 yards. It's not bad for a rookie.
Can you say those
with a
numbers again?
rookie
I missed
quarterback.
it. What did you say?
32 receptions for 549 yards.
But yeah, that's not bad being a rookie and playing with him. That's,
And,
yeah,
and then
that's
he,
respectable.
Harry Douglas was number 2 on the receptions with yards. It was 32 receptions for
Harry Douglas definitely
411.
brings at least a veteran presence.
Correct.
to
But I mean,
that
those
receiving
numbers
core.
individual. I mean, we're looking at them because they're young and they're Titans, but they need to have. I mean, I guess maybe Delaney Walker, but like there was talk of him retiring. He was a free agent. You know what I mean? He was saying he might retire. They need to shore it up. Those numbers need to grow this year.
Yeah.
They
So,
need
but
Dorial Green-Beckham and Marcus Mariota need to find a chemistry together because they're both sophomore players. They need
Grow together.
They need to establish they need to establish that connection in order for that offense, especially in the passing game, to become effective.
Because 550 yards is no type of connection.
Well, no. What I'm saying
Come on.
is, but no, that is good for a
Like,
rookie
you know,
playing with a
they-
rookie
that-
quarterback.
but that's
I see
not-
that
your
trend
number
going
one.
forward.
I hope so.
And it's not going
I
to win.
hope so,
It's not
but-
going to win you the division.
That's what I'm saying.
If
But
he
you're
also
leading-
made
if
a
you're-
big thing
If
in
your
the
outside
offside.
receiver is only, I mean, let's say Dorial Green Beckham, let's say he catches 50 or 60 passes here, and he has 800 yards receiving. That's still not going to win you a division. They need if
exactly.
in order for the Titans to
They need a
compete,
number one.
They need and we need to find out whether or not Dorial Green Beckham can be that true number one for the Titans.
Well, I think he can, and
Those
not
are
only
big
that,
catches, though. 32 for 500.
The Titans organization, especially in this draft, they really went after in the early rounds the key pieces that are going to help them move forward. Because, like I said, they were 25th, 28th, 30th in yards.
Which one?
For passing, rushing. They were
each-
just all like
each
each one.
major
Like
category.
there's
They're
nothing.
in the
There's nothing in the teens. There's nothing in relevant category.
They're in the
space.
bottom third in every category.
So with that being said, they have to obviously address the offensive line, and they went and got Jack Conklin out of
Nice
Michigan
pick.
State.
Yep, nice pick.
And then the second pick, they got Kevin Dodd, the linebacker out of Clemson, and then they got Austin Johnson, defensive tackle. So they're addressing both sides of the ball because their defense, I still think, is one of their weaknesses, and it's still going to be their biggest weakness going into it because they really don't have too many marquee veteran players on that defense that are going to stand out to you. Once again, in this division, I'm going to use the term they're very young and very inexperienced.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the potential for growth in the season is it's a coin
pretty
flip.
good.
It's a coin
Yeah,
flip.
It's pretty good. They got. I don't want to say they have like a ton of weapons or at least a ton of guys that are gonna jump off the page. You like, oh, this guy might have a really big season, but they do have a lot of room to grow, and they can do it.
Let me ask you this: are the Titans a 2017, not 2016? Are they a 2017 playoff contender?
Most definitely. If they keep the players that they have healthy and everybody gels together and really fills in the holes that throughout the season that they find this year, they could very well potentially be a forerunner in that in that division. The AFC, in my opinion, is a pretty weak division in the conference overall, because although they just won the Super Bowl, all right, the AFC just
count on the AFC. You know what's weird is that all of a sudden the AFC South from like a few years ago was like the joke of the league. Now all of a sudden you're talking about the AFC South.
Don't forget about them Texans.
Yeah, the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans. They're all kind of, I mean, maybe
up and coming besides
more,
the Colts.
more so with the Colts and the Texans. I think those two teams are the front runners to win that division. I'd give probably the edge
It's on Brock
to the Texans, depending on
over
whether
the Colts and Luck.
Well, I was gonna say depending on what Andrew Luck can do, can he bounce back? But now all of a sudden, like even you got to throw the Jaguars and the Texans or the Titans, I mean, in that mix as far as maybe even a potential wild card spot in that AFC.
Do we really see a wild card team coming out of the AFC South? What do you think?
If anything, it would be either the Colts or the Texans, because the other teams in the AFC, it's either going to be. It's going to be Kansas City, or it's going to be Oakland, or it's going to be one of the teams out of the East. It's going to be the Jets.
Yeah, I see the Jets or Buffalo. They are one of the wild cards.
Those two AFC wild card spots are going to be. There are going to be a bunch of teams I see fighting for that wild card spot going into this season. Maybe not.
Yeah, but what other divisions is this loaded? Because
I'm saying
the
the
AFC
Jets,
South are pretty loaded.
I mean, the Steelers,
the Jets
Bengals,
don't have a quarterback.
There's a bunch of teams going to be fighting for those AFC
it's
wild
be
card
the
spots.
Jets or Buffalo will be a wild card. There will be an AFC East wild card team.
There probably will be. I'll give it to the AFC North probably for the other wild card spot, but don't count out one of those AFC South teams that we mentioned, and
They're a bubble team.
and then the AFC West too. I mean, you got Kansas City and Denver and Oakland out there. I'm completely discounting San Diego because I don't think they're in the talks at all. But
Don't tell that to your brother. He picked up Phillip Rivers.
he also got Keenan Allen too, as far as I know. But
Yep.
I mean, that second AFC wild card team, I'm going to give the first AFC wild card spot probably to either Cincinnati, the Jets, or like either the Chiefs or the Raiders.
That's quite a few teams.
Yeah, man, you're
but
there's only a certain amount of teams that make the playoffs.
What I'm saying is that second wild card spot, there's going to be like 6 teams going after that second wild card spot.
Yeah.
But,
Really on the bubble.
honestly,
And especially going into the next couple years where the Jaguars and the Titans and other teams like that are going to be really competing for that spot.
most definitely. But the AFC, and I'll even be as bold as just put it out on record and just say right now, there is going to be a wild card from the AFC South this year. Because there's no doubting the talent that's in that grouping right now. Because you got Houston that's up and coming now because they made a lot of off-season acquisitions, and not only that, they drafted well
Got
to
rid of
fill
some
in those
dead weight
spots.
and Foster.
Exactly, they got rid of their
Yeah, you're right. The Texans might take that number one.
Yeah, they might take number
spot.
1, but then you got Jacksonville and you got these Titans coming up, and you can't really
I'm
discredit
not counting
them.
too much on the Jaguars or the Titans. I don't think they're there yet.
Better record. Who's going to have the better record, Titans or Jags? Amongst them two teams, which teams will have more victories?
I'm going Jags.
I'm gonna probably have to go with the Jags as well.
I'm
just
going
because,
Jags, too.
Yeah. And damn, did we just all agree on something?
Yeah, But you know what that means? That means, if we all agree, that means the segment's over.
Yeah, I think it's
And
done.
Unfortunately, if the segment's over, we're going to close up today's show doing a little thing for Sean's dude, Buddy Ryan. We're going to do a player
Rest in
card.
peace, sir.
The first Coach's player card. Coach's edition
Hey, Coach.
player card. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Sean, what you got for us on Buddy Ryan?
Buddy Ryan, the now late great Buddy Ryan, although he wasn't all that great of a head coach. He was 55 and 55 and 1, which is good for a 500 average as far as winning goes. But
right down the middle, a tie and everything.
Buddy Ryan.
I don't know how
born
many professional wins do you
February
have?
17th, 1934. Died today, June 28th, 2016. Broke into the league. He was in college. He coached the Buffalo Bulls, which is a the Bulls, not the Bills, but the Bulls out there in Buffalo, New York. He was a college coach. Finally broke into the
Buffalo
NFL
Bulls.
with the New York Jets in 1968. He was a defensive line coach from 1968 to 1975. Ended up winning a Super Bowl, Super Bowl III, the first one to actually be dubbed the Super Bowl. With the New York Jets, ended up beating the Baltimore
Joe
Colts.
Namath.
Baltimore Colts at the time. Went on to be a defensive
Broadway
line
Joe.
coach for the Minnesota Vikings from 1976 to 1977. And then, a little shout out to John over here. He coached the 1985 Bears as a defensive coordinator. He was there from 1978 to 1985. Coached John's boy over there, Ron Rivera, who was a member of that 1985 Bears team.
There you go.
Won Super Bowl 20 over the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 20.
Do you remember the Super Bowl Shuffle? Oh, that's a thing that you'll look up after this. The Bears did the Super Bowl Shuffle, but go on. I'm sorry.
All right, so getting on with Buddy Ryan, and then he really, what I think he'll definitely be remembered as at least especially for me as an Eagles fan, he was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles from 1986 to 1990.
What about the Oilers, man?
Well, that was after the Eagles. He was a head coach.
You got to stay in that mic, Sean.
That's
He
one
coached-
of the biggest things because I would say that's one of his most
let
controversial
me
moves.
talk about his time with the Eagles. He got to coach some of the all-time Eagles greats: Randall Cunningham, Seth Joyner, Jerome Brown. Wow.
Reggie White.
Yeah, I knew I was going somewhere with that.
He retired a Panther.
I mean, he was a fiery guy, and you can see it now today, and especially his one son. Rex.
So you can see them both of them.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, they're
I would
both
say- I would
together
say,
in the Bills.
They're both pretty fiery, but I mean, Rex, he's a head coach now, so you could see more of his fieriness there on the sideline.
I don't know if you've seen his brother then, and making defensive calls. He's out there like basically in cardiac arrest, running up and down the
throwing
field.
down their headphones and just yelling at the.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great for football.
It's like
great
Tom
for football.
Coughlin, and
Love it too.
and then not only that,
I loved Bill Cowher.
Yeah, Bill Cowher days, and then to go into the future, Tom. Dang. I just lost his name for a second. Hold on, Tom Coughlin. No. Tomlin. Mike Tomlin. Dang. See.
But we're gonna have to get through this player card, guys. We're running out of time.
Yeah. Just real quick. Also, I mean, he had an 0-3 playoff record. All those playoff as a head coach. That was with the Eagles. Everyone remembers the Fog Bowl. Back in the early 90s when the Eagles lost against the Bears where nobody could see anything. Everyone's seen those NFL films. The film was completely blanketed in fog. And then, I mean, he went on to coach the Oilers as a defensive coordinator in 1993, I should say. And then everyone remembers when he punched Kevin Gilbride in the face. That will live in infamy. And then he finished off his career from 1994 to 1995.
It's like a Bobby Knight move.
As the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. So, Buddy Ryan, he'll be remembered, I think, as a Philly guy. He was.
Yeah, I would go.
He
Philly
was that.
too,
He was
yeah.
that blue collar, fiery, just passionate guy that all Philly fans can definitely identify with and relate to. So, rest in peace, Buddy Ryan. You'll definitely be missed.
Yeah, the contribution that himself and now his sons are, contributing to the game of professional football. The best way that we can do is, honor his legacy, and I hope we did that today.
I think we did.
I think we did, and I think it's time to wrap up the show. So let's just remind you guys, go over to voiceofbedlam.com. Evolving, growing, changing. You're going to love it. And if you think you've got what it takes to join the team, hit us up. Staff at voiceofbedlam.com.
Because we're just writing about all sports now, guys.
There we go. All right, guys, check out all the sponsors. Shout out to my man Sam, King Kojo, and the newest member, Tom Ambersico, Big T. All right, guys, for Sean, John, I'm Andrew Bedlam. This is the Voice of Bedlam podcast, and we're getting the hell out of here.
Peace.
Nobody can fight